almost noon, so there's no way in hell this is going up before 11. I had to sleep in today. I had to. I really needed it. Good news, live stream tomorrow from 11:15 till 1:15. We're just going to do it 2 hours. We're not going to go any over. Also, no live stream on Christmas Eve because I have to work that day. Yay. I will still be doing a full-scale Friday reading before that. Should we move the live stream to Christmas Day? Same time, 11:15 a.m. Eastern. If you want a live stream on that day, comment down below. And if we don't get any comments about that, then that's fine. We'll skip it because I know there's going to be a lot of people spending time with family, spending time with friends, going to church, that sort of thing. And yeah, no hard feelings. If you don't want a live stream on that day, I totally understand. My day will probably be spent watching Die Hard. Because contrary to what Bruce Willis says, yes, it's a Christmas movie. Also happens to be a Bruce Willis movie, but still a Christmas movie. I'll probably even be watching Die Hard 2, Lethal Weapon, and a host of other movies I consider Christmas movies. So, I know there are people that are like, oh, that's not a Christmas movie. Yeah, well, I consider it one. What about you? Oh, you don't? Okay. So don't watch it. Anyway, let's see what else we got going on. Today, we decided to break out the old Tarot of the Divine along with the Enchanted Map Oracle. Also, we have about a little over a week before Christmas, or Yule, or whatever it is, whatever holiday it is you celebrate. If you wish to give someone a personal reading, actually, you know what? You won't be giving them one personal reading. Nope. You'll be giving them anything under anything $35 and under. You'll be giving them 2 personal readings and a birthday reading. And if your birthday's coming up soon, I can go ahead and knock that thing out too. Also, these readings can absolutely be done live. I actually got that question not too long ago, and yes, they could be done live. I personally prefer the recorded method, such as this one, because then you can always go back to it. However, with every one of them, I do supply a photo and a photo of the reading and a synopsis. So, if you're happy with that, live readings are perfectly fine. It's your reading, do it your way. It's all good. Matter of fact, I broke down and did a reading for a coworker yesterday. Just kind of a little on the spot kind of thing. Mainly because I could tell he was kind of struggling with a few things. And he told me a few things, and I was like, seems like a struggle. Give me just a minute. Ran to my locker, grabbed my deck, and grabbed a Rider-Waite deck, and I broke down and just did it right there. And it kind of spooked him a little bit because I didn't know this. He was very much a fact-based kind of guy. Like he's a Missouri-born man from New Jersey. You have to show it to him. You have to prove it to him. But he's open. So that was kind of an interesting thing to find out a little bit later. So I hope you're having your lunch or your tea with me. I know that by the time this thing gets posted, it's probably going to be late afternoon, something like that. That's alright, that happens. So let's get right into it. Let's see what your weekend's going to look like, shall we? Alright, here we go. Look at that. Brick gears. This is where we begin making peace. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, But when I say children, I mean those who still possess a childlike sense of wonder. A lot of the time it's going to be up to us to make peace. Case in point, there's a Christmas party to which I've been invited by the very people who shunned me last year. I shouldn't say by the very people who shunned me last year. This is by someone else, but still related. And to be honest, I'm having to give up my Christmas Eve. That's why there's no live stream next Saturday. I'm having to give that Christmas Eve up in order to go to it because it's the night before. Fun. A lot of fun. Yay. Now, how that's going to go, I have no idea. I really don't know. There are some things I'm going to be doing. And leaving it at this. Am I hoping to make peace with them? Yes. But it's going to come with an understanding. A very big understanding. And I'm going to walk away from it when it's all done. If that understanding cannot be handled, then that's fine. We will forever part ways that night. If the understanding can be handled, then we can resume life as normal. But I'm going to leave that decision in their court. After that, they don't take it back. Some of us will have to make peace with others. Some of us have to make peace with ourselves. And that's probably the most important thing. That we'll go see that guy here. The halls. Again, this comes up as our guide. We're going to be sacrificing some things. Personally, I'm going to be sacrificing a lot of my own. First, I'm going to be sacrificing a lot of my own kind of base instincts here, or just the way I feel about certain things. I'm going to be sacrificing them. But what it shows you is that reward waits on the other side of it. So, maybe I changed some minds. Maybe not. But this weekend, primarily, we're not talking about next weekend, we're talking about this weekend. This weekend, maybe you change some minds. But first, you have to make peace. Not only, if you want to make peace with others, you got to make peace with yourself first. That's just fact of the matter. You can't make peace with anyone around you until you've made peace with yourself. And if you're running around hating on other people for whatever reason, you don't hate them, you hate yourself. That is a very tough life. Here's the key to making peace with others. You need to start setting some boundaries. You need to tell people when something's not alright. If they cannot respect it, move on. But here's the thing, they have to be healthy and they have to be reasonable. They can't be some sort of reasonable, they must be reasonable. You know, I tell people all the time, when I think one of the pharmacists at work the other day saw me with this little device in my hand, and she goes, "That is really unhealthy." And I stopped her right there and I said, "Listen, after I've been pumped with 2 shots of that experimental crap, I don't want to hear a word about my vaping." And she tried to go on and said, I think we need to manage expectations here. I'm going to vape with you, like it or not. I was like, the second shot nearly sent me to the hospital. I don't want to hear another word. So as long as you drop that, she rolled her eyes at me. I was like, so long as you drop the speech about my vaping, I'll drop anything I gotta say about that shot. But if you're gonna talk about my vaping, I'm gonna talk about that shot. Which one do you want? She just said a very polite good afternoon and went on her way. Leave that ball in their court. Make it reasonable. Very simple. But you have to set a healthy boundary. We're not going to talk about this. You don't want me to talk about this thing? Don't talk about this thing. It's a very even, fair exchange. Very simple stuff. We'll see how you do in a minute. Well, we got an 8 of Wands in reverse. We got a 10 of Cups. And we've got the Tower. Does it seem like things are progressing very slowly for you? This should show you something. This is not Amazon Prime here. It might have taken a very, very long time for things to come to fruition. As a matter of fact, we're speaking of sacrifices. Let me tell you the story behind this image. This is the story of the raven bringing fire to humankind so that we wouldn't freeze to death. And in this story, the raven actually had very colorful plumes on its body. It had a beautiful singing voice. When it snatched a twig out of the fire and flew it here, as the earth was frozen so that humankind wouldn't freeze to death. Its colorful plumage was seared black, and from the smoke, its voice was ruined. So it no longer had the beautiful singing voice. But we are forever grateful to it. We're forever grateful to its sacrifices. I still consider ravens to be some of the most beautiful birds out there. Not because it's my namesake, by the way. But did you know that also in the Celtic zodiac, that's my spirit animal? Kind of wild, huh? Anyway, sacrifices brought about because this is what's most important. Family. Going into this holiday season, we need to be looking at this. That family, that closeness, that intimacy, and I don't mean this in a bedroom sense. I mean it. And we know each other. We know each other's. We know what each other loves, and we share in that. We share what we love with them. They share what they love with us, and we kind of mutually exchange that. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give. Sharing what you love the most. Haven't we talked about that? I think we have. The Tower, though, is where you're really sitting. But you're far too focused on this crumbling. Not enough on the foundation that's sitting there. The foundation is still very solid. As long as you set those healthy boundaries, as long as you figured out what those are and you take the time to do that, you shouldn't have a problem. But the thing to think about, the most important part in that section, is that 10 of Cups there. It's going to leave you feeling a lot more fulfilled. It's going to take time. We've got a Page of Swords here. We've got a Star in reverse. And we got the Queen of Swords. What we're looking at, we've had messages of conflict before. We've had to deal with this sort of ideological stance. Those ideological stances come from very, very young people who really sometimes are very, very naive as to what's going on. But we have to be very honest with ourselves. We have to be very truthful. We have to let our curiosity get a little bit of the better of us. That's sort of what if. Being thoughtful as well. Because this is a very youthful intelligence. And you use your wit to succeed where others have failed. Your optimism intact through it all. This is a harbinger of new beginnings and new ideas for you and those around you. That's what the Page of Swords is. See, there's a problem though. There's that Star in reverse. Oh goodness. love the star, but we do have some insecurity. We have dejection. We have a lot of exhaustion, don't we? So what is it that's exhausted you? What is it that's so tiring that you just don't want to deal with it anymore? Because here's where you're going to have to end up. That Queen of Swords. What have we always said about her? She has ways of cutting through 9 layers of your bullshit. And with the emphasis on truthfulness here, going into the Queen of Swords, you have to be honest because there's no other way around it. Again, this is where we reinforce setting those healthy boundaries, letting others know, hey, you know what? If you're going to ask for my opinion, you better ask yourself if you're sure you're wanting it. Because I'm not saying I do, but what if I disagree with you? Can you handle that? Or are you going to just shout it down again? Which one do you want? Make your choice, but once you made it, you cannot take it back. See, now they have to roll the dice. Do they want the honest truth? Or are they just looking for an echo chamber? The funny thing is, this is this weekend. You're going to be the one making peace. You're going to have to put a lot of that ball in their court this weekend. In the spirit, we have a 10 of Wands in reverse. We have a 4 of Swords. And we have a 7 of Cups. It's odd that I'm seeing so much conflict here. So little creativity. But so many of our vessels being filled. It's really strange. So maybe we gotta put the bright ideas on hold a little bit. We might have to push them back. Because it's not time to complete that idea just yet. You know, this is not the time to really get too creative. And look at this, we have an image of Fenrir bound up with a sword in his mouth. That 4 of Swords, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen it before. And this is not the 7 of Swords that tells us, hey, you know, this is a place of rest. This is not the 7 of Swords that makes us feel like something's wrong. Because we know one thing, that image of Fenrir is destruction. So, for right now, there's some respite there. There's a bit of rest. There's a bit of taking time away from it. You do need that sanctuary. You need to recoup. You need meditation. You need some counseling. Go get it. Because choice in how you handle things is solely up to you. Remember when I said you're gonna leave a ball in someone else's court quite a bit this weekend? Yep. Because how they handle that and your response to it is completely up to you. You already know firsthand which of these decisions is going to be the absolute most toxic. You know which ones are going to be best. And there's a lot of information there. Now is not the time to overanalyze, and guess what? That full moon of Gemini has us overanalyzing things. But now is not the time for that. We know exactly where we need to go, what we need to do, and we need to be doing it. Alright, let's have a look at the map and see where we're headed. We got Into the Unknown. We've got Movement. And we've got Rider-Waite. Let's start with Into the Unknown. You know what's really cool about this card? Is it points right at this. Let me tell you something. That wolf there, Fenrir, he brings about the end of the world, but don't you know that we, as human beings, would rather know something terrible what's coming rather than not knowing what's coming. This is where you kind of feel like you're walking around in the dark a little bit. It's new and uncharted territory for you. For some of us, making peace with others and ourselves, wow, that's a challenge. But now's the season for it. And a lot of the onus here is going to be left up to you, because it is going to take movement. It's going to take you actually doing something, thinking your actions through, as pointed with this Page of Swords here. You're going to have to do a lot of thinking. You're going to have to do a lot of reflection for Four of Swords again, because you need to arrive at that honest truth. You cannot let your fear hold you back. And don't worry about a thing, because the wave is going to be coming. Notice that this meditation card comes right here in that spiritual center, and you're going to be riding the wave. You will feel it. It will just kind of come upon you, and you can just let go on it. Let's have a look at your runes and cap this thing off. So we have Heathen. We have Laguz, of course, because of course we do. And we have Rider-Waite. Interesting. Let me show you something. Starting here, you're going to have to take some risks. You're going to have to take some calculated chances. This could come with family members, it could come with friends, it could come with anything. It's really even going to come with yourself. You're going to have to take that moment to understand that you have been here before. Your intuition is not going to be guiding you wrong, and you will absolutely 100% make it if you can overcome your fear of it. You know, I've talked with a couple people over the past few days. I've asked them, you know, you've got talents and abilities that can take you, way farther than where you're going now. Why are you, why are you so hesitant to use them? And they say, well, I'm afraid of failure. Another thing is I gave a piece of advice, and I said, do you want to start running games? Want to start running tabletop games, and those books seem insurmountable? Fuck it, just start. You are never going to memorize all those rules. Never. But every game, that's why in the original D&D, Gary Gygax said it's rulings, not rules. He wasn't telling you not to master the rules. He was telling you to just play. You can learn the rules as you go. Manage the expectations. Just roll the dice. Today we'll rule this. I will look into that. Next session it's okay, so I ruled this way, I looked into it, this is what the rule states. It either reinforces the ruling or it negates the ruling. But you know what works for your table. So now you can make a decision. Moving forward, we will either institute things this way or we will just toss this rule because it fucking sucks. That's the way it goes. Interestingly enough, and this is where I really wanted to go with it, you have this movement Ride the Wave, and we have Laguz and Rider-Waite in reverse positions, but they're still here. Let me show you something. Because what it's showing, what the entire reading is showing you boils down to these two cards. It's really weird. Only two of the runes really give a full synopsis. And this Laguz is just telling you to kind of go with that flow. Again, ride the wave. But you're being told also to make forward movement, make the progress. However you've got to do it. This is about the journey, not the destination. It's interesting because making peace with yourself, making those sacrifices, it seems very difficult. It's not. You just have to set those healthy boundaries. You have to show up. You have to do these things because family is what's most important. Family is the foundation for everything at this point. everything. But you have to have honesty. You have to have that open door policy. You have to have healthy boundaries going, okay, whoa. Remember, we're not talking about that. And if you insist on talking about that, I will go ahead and take my leave, and that's fine. I've had to do some agreement to disagree with people on certain issues. And there are people that are still not understanding that. And what I've told them was, look, you're not changing my mind, I'm not changing yours. Why are we continuing this? I'm going to agree to disagree. You do whatever you want. I just step out. Because my mind's made up on certain issues. Certain things. And it could be all in presentation, you never know. Think about that for a minute too. Your presentation may leave something to be desired. But you're going to have to think things through. You're going to have to proceed with what would be reasonable. I'm surprised Scotty didn't show up because that would be compromise. And that's also something that could be useful. But remember, compromise does not mean they come all the way over to you, or you go all the way over to them. You're not giving up the farm, neither are they. You meet in the middle. Both of you. Alright. I hope that helps. I really do. Because there was a lot of truth to this message today. A lot of fact. I will be back with a short. I hope you will be here for it. In the meantime, if I don't see you next weekend, if we don't do a live stream, I'll at least do a reading for Christmas for you. Don't call it that because a lot of people call it that. But in the meantime, just remember, I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up. And as always, shine on.